Hello, guys. Welcome to the 10th episode of Polarizing Dialogue with me and Sakhi, wherein we are going to be talking about the topic of personal branding. So, I would just like to start off by saying that in this day and age, where everything is digital, I feel like it just emphasizes the importance of personal branding that much more because personal branding as a whole, or rather social media as a whole, it just provides you with another medium to market yourself and to build authority in any kind of area in which you are specialized in. So, if at all you are trying to get a job or an internship, being like a digital marketer, maybe you can express your interest in the form of Facebook posts or in the form of LinkedIn posts or reposting stuff related to digital marketing, stuffs like that. There are a lot of ways in which you can build personal branding. In this video, me and Saki are going to delve deeper into certain topics of personal branding itself. But this is just my 2 cents. This is just an introduction or just what I think about personal branding. Saki, what according to you, what do you think personal branding is?
Okay, so this video basically is going to be I'm going to be representing the audience basically because I'm not too good with this either. I'm still learning. I haven't built anything. I haven't built. I mean, my social media presence, okay, it's there, but it's not to the level that I want it to be because it's not helping me in the way that it should. So basically, personal branding, as we've already discussed before, I feel like this is pretty new to all of us because when social media came into picture, when people started using it, was mostly for just talking to people and connecting with friends and sharing memes and all of that. It wasn't used productively like we use it like we do that today. And that's why I feel like it's a very noble concept. And I would like to begin by asking you what you have done to build your personal brand, if you have, and if I am just starting out, what should I be doing? What should I be focusing on?
Okay, so one thing that I would like to clarify about personal branding itself is the notion that people have with regards to personal branding, which this preconceived notion of wanting to be an expert, or people just assume that they have to be an expert before they post on anything at all. It need not be like that. I mean,
Mm.
for example, I mean, the videos that I post on YouTube and the content or the quotes that I post on Twitter and threads, for example, those are just me thinking out loud. Those are just ways of me thinking out loud. Even on YouTube, I do not claim to be 100% right. Like I open people to suggestions. I'm open to suggestions, and I'm open to different points of views about the things that I talk about. So you do not really need to be like a full-fledged expert. If you are, you can position yourself differently, but I assume everyone, I mean, most people who watch my videos are like around my age. So just get rid of this preconceived notion, or this idea that you have to be an expert in anything. You just have to be interested in certain topics, and interested enough to like actually post about certain topics that you're interested in. Like, for example, my reposts on LinkedIn would range anywhere from mindset to financial advice to cryptocurrency and everything and anything. So you do not need to limit your personal brand when you're just starting out. Just explore, feel the waters a little bit. Just share whatever you feel like sharing to the world. And when you are that much more when you're that much more acclaimed to the concept of personal branding itself, maybe then try to diversify, um, by honing in on your specific niche. I think that is what I'd like to say. And the way I went about starting or creating my digital presence or my personal brand is through my YouTube channel. Initially, it started off with me posting videos on YouTube. That gave me the experience, or rather, that gave me the confidence to actually post on other mediums. So I started posting on Twitter. I recently just started tweeting on Twitter. I just started posting threads as well on Instagram threads, and I've also started posting on LinkedIn. So you don't need to do this. You can just focus on one platform. But I believe building a personal brand would help my movement or whatever I'm trying to do with regards to YouTube itself, which is why I'm doing it. But
Mhm.
you're just where you want to take your personal brand just depends completely and solely on your objectives with regards to your life itself. So if you're a budding lawyer like you are, you can think of reposting stuff, or you can just share thoughts on specific cases, for example, that interests you, like niched cases. So for example, if divorce cases interest you, or for example, if bankruptcy cases they interest you, you can post your opinions and thoughts and about how lawyers approached certain situations. Just personal branding always depends upon the individual. It's not fixed. But if you do
Mhm.
want to do it properly, I believe the advice that I'd like to give is, once you start figuring out personal brand, and once you start figuring out what exactly you like, start honing in and start doing actual research before posting stuff, which is what
Mhm.
I'm doing on YouTube basically. So you can feel the script becoming a little more complicated as I'm posting more and more videos, because I frankly am pushing my own mental boundaries with regards to these videos. Like for example, the script that I'm writing now, I am stuck. There is that popular thing called writer's block. I am there. But I
Mhm.
believe when you experience all these blocks, and when you experience all these obstacles, these are when you push your boundaries, and you
Definitely.
like expand your own intellect and your own mental capabilities. So that's my 2 cents on personal branding and how you can use personal branding itself. I believe it was useful. Do you have anything to add to that?
Definitely, yeah. So I did get a fair idea about how I would begin. So, like you said, it's all about purpose. My purpose probably wouldn't be as as big as yours, because you focus on marketing, and you're basically focusing on you know increasing your what digital presence, and you want to increase your reach and all of that. That probably might not be my purpose. So what I feel like what stops people from doing that is, I feel like people are very, very hesitant. Even me, for example, to an extent, I'm a bit hesitant to put my opinions out there, because we always fear backlash from people, and we feel like if people will say things if they come to know about a certain thing, or this might be a little controversial, whatever that might be. So I feel like that's what stops them. And this day and age, I feel like people fear too much, being judged by others. So even if it's a normal picture of, I don't know, your from your travel or something, people think too much before posting. I mean, some people, not everybody. There are influencers and all that, but people like me, I've become very, very open on Instagram, but there was a time when I was really, really hesitant to post anything at all. With like my personal life, I don't want to put it out all the. So that was how I thought would be. But I feel like I should increase my presence, because most of my connections now, after I came to college, I have so many people I have on Instagram, not on other platforms. LinkedIn relatively less, because I haven't updated it. So there is stuff that I need to get started with, and I definitely did get a fair idea about. Yes, so like I previously stated that it doesn't have to be career oriented or opportunity oriented. Like you don't have to create a presence just because you want to grab opportunities, or you want the reach and you want to network. Definitely networking 100% helps. But in general, if you want to uh, become a more interesting person, that could be put in a better manner. But just make more friends and put out your interests, because that's how people can approach you. If they know you like cars, or you like F1, or maybe you like a particular, just put out your hobbies. Maybe you're a good swimmer, anything of that sort. If people know that, they'll come to you, they can talk to you about it. You can just have very good conversations. So it doesn't just have to be, it's important. Digital presence is important because this has become a whole new space now. It's not just one part of people's lives or something. It's so intertwined now. It's an entire ecosystem. That is why it is very, very important that you have your presence there. Otherwise, you might not be known by too many people, and you will be deprived of a lot of things if people don't know you enough. And yes, and I feel like this is closely. related to what we spoke about in our last podcast, and that was about networking. How do you think, how would you relate the two, and how do you think it helps in networking?
So when people have a strong digital presence, or if their personal brand itself is like strong, I believe that kind of skips the first part of networking, which is getting to know about others. So if at all you have like a proper, decent, solid digital presence, I think people who come to certain events to meet you already know the kind of things that you have to offer. So if at all any person has anything specific that they can add value to, like for example, if they're good at editing and I'm making videos and they watch my videos, they feel that the edits can be a little better. They can approach me in social situations when it comes to networking, and just give me tips or just get opportunities for editing itself. So when it comes to personal branding, when it comes to just networking, I believe personal branding is like an extension of networking, or you
Hmm.
can also look at it as personal branding makes networking itself a lot more easier. As you stated, people don't have to build their digital presence just for opportunities. 100% agree, because personal branding is not just tied to just opportunities, but it's your brand, your personality as a whole, just put out there. So just like any product has a brand image tied to it. So for example, me buying a random shoe from a random shop, and me buying a random shoe, so you cut off.
Fuck. Yep.
So yeah, just like how you'd be that much more, you trust a shoe coming from Nike when compared to like a normal shop. The same things would apply when it comes to just people listening to people, because listening itself, it takes a lot of energy. So if at all you have like a preconceived, if people have preconceived notions of you speaking valuable things and actually giving people value when you speak, with regards to your personal brand, if you put that out there through your personal brand itself, through your digital presence for that matter, when you just speak on public occasions, people will always stop and listen to you. That is just one of the advantages. Like you said, personal branding does not just apply to just opportunity related, but I believe we use social media for a lot of other reasons. And one thing that I firmly do believe is, when it comes to just socializing, I do not believe social media is the place, because when it comes to socializing, people always show their highlights. I believe that builds up like a toxic way of you perceiving
A
situations, because you
filtered
constantly
sort of
compare.
a thing.
Exactly. So you compare your life's normality, the normality of your everyday life, to
Hmm.
people's highlights. So maybe people, they'll have like 29 boring days, and the 30th day is like very exciting where they go to concerts and stuff. That's the only day that they post. But you think that's basically their life. They're like partying, they're like going to concerts all day every day, which is not the case. So I believe I personally I do not use social media for socializing, like you said. But I am very interested to hear your point on how you use social media to socialize. I used to do that, but I do not do it anymore, because I mean, social media is a very slippery slope, wherein you go in to like socialize, but you end up building a lot of negative notions about yourself, and just you build up a lot of insecurities, and people can sit there say that you are too strong for insecurities. But I mean, it comes back to the point wherein, just because you're so strong, it comes back to one of the things that I said during addiction, the video of addiction. Just because you're strong, you shouldn't like test your limits when it comes to something which is known to be like 90% bad and like 10% good. So that is one thing about socializing. I wouldn't use social media for that. But opportunities, oh my god, absolutely. I am going to be starting to post on Instagram as well. The shots that I'm
Ah,
posting on YouTube, I'm going to be starting to post that on Instagram as well. So I'm really looking forward to do it. Really looking forward to uploading all of that. But in reality, I'm just exploring all of the opportunities in social media. And guys, I swear to God, this feels amazing. Like the amount of abundance of opportunities that is with us in this day and age, and the amount of opportunity that social media provides, we are just taking advantage of it. Like people in the olden age, the problem that they had was finding a thing which works. But rather, the problem that we as people nowadays that we have is everything works. We just have to find something to like stick to, and we just have to find the right tool to like utilize. And I believe a lot of people are not utilizing social media enough. But with regards to social media itself, like how do you go about socializing in social media? Like in a
Oh,
positive way, of course.
I have a completely different opinion in this regard. But I have used social media to socialize. So when I mentioned this even in a previous video that when I came to college, before I came to college, we made a lot of friends on Instagram. We had a whole group, made this GC and all of that. And yeah, when we met in college, through them, I made a lot of friends. So I already had a friend group before even getting into college. That was a plus. I feel like socializing per se on social, I feel like it gives a good push. So, for example, if you're an introvert and you cannot directly approach someone or talk to someone in person, not everybody can just randomly go to a stranger and talk to them. Or if, for example, if you're attending a conference or seminar, there are distinguished speakers or guests. There are very few people who can actually gather the courage to go ahead and talk to them because it is difficult, it clearly is. And that's the advantage with social media because you simply have to draft a good message and you send it. And if they respond, you can definitely take your time, think through different things, and properly respond to them. So that creates a good base. So even if you have to meet them in person, you've already created that comfortable space around you and around that entire interaction. And that way, I definitely think social media helps to approach people in the first stage of something. And if completely dependent on it, I mean, that there's no point. You don't meet them in person and take things forward, there's no point. But it can be used uh, because LinkedIn is a space, right? To connect with people even professionally. So I feel like if you use it in the right manner, it's very good for socializing. That's just my opinion. You want
I
to add
agree,
something?
completely agree with whatever you said. But I just had one question. So you said about how people build a base before they interact with people, right?
Mhm.
But don't you think social media it provides people with too much of a cushion when it comes to the base that they're building? Like for example, I can be a person in social situations. I can be one type of person. But online, with my desk, I can be that person, but the message that I would normally convey to you in this manner, if I had like an entire day to like craft this message, I could obviously like perfect this message and like send it over to you. Don't you think that kind of overshoots the person that you already are because you do not have that much flexibility when it comes to everyday situations and social life? Because I mean, if everybody had that opportunity, I 100% agree. I mean, when just carefully drafting a message, it 100% is effective. But I'm just not sure if at all that is a picture that you're portraying, and the person actually when it comes to an opportunity wherein the person gets to meet you,
Yeah.
and during the social interaction you're like a completely different person compared to the person that you portrayed yourself as online. Don't you
Yeah.
think that there exists like a kind of divide? And if at all you do agree, how do you go about like battling that?
It is true to definitely true to a certain extent. But if you, for example, if you give me a situation, I would be able to answer better. But in general, I'll tell you, if you are, if your intentions aren't right, or maybe if you're not that good at drafting messages or just talking to people in general, that would kind of show in the kind of replies that you give. But otherwise, look at it from a perspective of a first timer. I'm in my first year. I don't have too much experience of going to like professional experienced people and talking to them formally and all of that. I'm still learning. So it's very good for me. I get that time. I can understand the process. I learn so much. When I interact with them as well, I'm learning how to draft good messages and how to reply properly. So it's good for a first timer. It okay. It can. Uh, you might be a different individual in person, but it just depends on. You just give me a situation if you can.
Yeah, I don't think we have the time for the situation, but I'll tell you the
Yeah.
reason why asked you that question because, frankly, this is a personal observation that I've made about myself. When I write YouTube scripts, that's like the best of me. Right. When I write these things, I can properly like formulate or properly articulate the exact thing that I'm trying to convey, or rather, I try. There will be obviously people who disagree, but that is the best version of me. But if you compare the script that I'm preparing, when you compare that to the videos that I'm doing here with you, my speech compared to the speech that I have in my medium form videos and my other videos are not as articulate because I had that much more time to like prepare when it comes to the medium form content. But when it comes to the long form, these kinds of podcasty kind of videos, I don't have that much time to prepare. And I like it because I this is also something that I've observed. But when you look at a script or when you prepare too much for situations, when you're abruptly put in a similar situation wherein you're given no time to prepare, what are you? I mean, how can you perform? Like there's that popular saying wherein you're not judged by how well you do when you're at your best, but how much you can control when you're at your worst. Like how much you can control how your performance is basically when you're at your worst, because that lays the baseline of your entire performance. If your entire performance like swings from 100 to 0, no company or no person can like trust you. If you have like a baseline wherein even if your max only goes to like 50, if your baseline is like 30 or 40, you're that much more trustworthy. Like people, like probability wise, you become that much more trustworthy for anything for that matter. Like one specific example that I can give is debate. If at all we decide that the topic we're going to be having here is, for example, personal branding. But what if you get in a normal conversation with people and there is this person who's outright talking like completely polar opposite to whatever you're speaking about or like whatever you believe in? Those kinds of situations you don't have time to prepare. The only thing that you have is your personal beliefs and how firmly your personal beliefs are. So if at all you have your personal beliefs very strong, you can hold up to that person. But that's just not enough, because even if you have your personal beliefs strong, if you're so used to like preparing and only performing when you are like very prepared, then in those situations you will falter. I mean, you will get faced with a lot of difficulty. So adding on to like one point that you made earlier with regards to how introverts, they do not have the experience to like go up to people, they do not have the experience to approach people and to talk. There is this specific person called the Future. I'm sure you've not heard of him. He's like a millionaire who's basically a creative person. So you know how creative people are more inclined to be introverts. So creative people in the sense editors, photographers, videographers, these kinds of people, these creative kind of people, they are known to be introverts. And this Future guy, he's an introvert as well. But he is one of the best salespeople that I know on the planet Earth, like that I consume right now. He's an introvert. He knows he's an introvert, but he also understands that if you do not know how to sell, if you do not know all these basic things of talking to people, you need not be good at it. You need not be good at it. You just have to be prepared to do it. Like, for example, there is that famous quote wherein it doesn't matter if it is okay if you cannot fight. It is only a problem if you won't fight. How well you fight does not matter. It's just that whether or not you are willing to like partake in the activity itself. But when it comes to networking, even you said that I'm only in my first year, I'm not used to professional situations. I remember how I felt in my first professional situation. But in those situations, you have to understand where you lie in social hierarchies. So if at all you find yourself lying at the very bottom of a social situation, try to soak in as much as you can. Oh my God, you have nothing to lose. You are already at the bottom of the hierarchy. What do you have to lose? Go and talk to people. Worst comes to worst, they judge you. Who cares? They already did not know you exist before that. So what if they judge you negatively? Big deal. You got you are see, in exchange of them judging you, the kind of things that you get is a lot of abundance of value from the other person. And you also get to know how these high level people think, or people higher up in the hierarchy. You get to understand how these people think. Oh my God, I attended this one conference, ISB conference. It completely changed my life. I was supposed to go into I was supposed to write CAT this year and get into ISB and all. So I went for this specific conference, which was conducted by ISB, Indian School of Business, for people who do not know. And oh my God, the people there, I thought I was something. So I was coming from my college, wherein, I mean, I basically, there's little to no competition in my college. So I thought I was something. My ego was inflated. I went there. I am faced with national level table tennis players, national level debaters, these people and me, and these people are humble. I am here, out here, I'm thinking I'm something. These people, they are actually something, in my eyes at least, and they are coming down to my level, if at all I can say that, and talking to me like real people. I understood there is like levels to the shit,
Definitely.
levels, and these kinds of situations, they humble you as well. Because I look at how I'm describing it, I have a wide smile on my face, because getting humbled is truly like a fascinating experience. So when it comes to just you, what I like tell you, and like what I'll tell people in general who are introverted, first of all, stop. Man, I do not know if I can say this, but I don't know. I considered myself kind of an introvert before this entire thing started, also. But I personally chose not to be an introvert because I thought that a lot of opportunities were going by me, going past me, and I could not stand other people getting those opportunities and me not getting those opportunities, while I deserve those opportunities 10 times more than them. So I literally, constantly, every single day, I told myself, I'm an extrovert. I'm an extrovert. I can talk to any person who comes in front of me. I don't care. I can talk to any person. I can vibe with any person. I can bond with any person. It doesn't matter if I can actually do that. What I believe shapes the kind of person that I am. Like even the way I'm speaking to you, all of this, all of this came from the belief that I maybe delusion. People can call it delusion, but I do not think it's actually delusion. It's it's planned optimism, I would say, because even if you are not the person that you claim to be, repeating it to yourself would like trigger your ego to actually become the person that you claim to be. Like your ego will not leave you alone. If you like claim to be this person that you're not, your ego will not leave you alone. So yeah, even with people who are claiming you're introverts, well, my approach to that would be, I mean, stop labeling yourself as things that certainly do not help you. Like labeling yourself as an introvert, that does not give you any opportunity, or does not give you any, it does not help you in any way, shape, or form. And I say that for extroverts as well. Like, do not label yourself an extrovert and stuff. Just be open to conversations. It's okay. Don't label yourself as anything. Just look at opportunities from a very neutral point of view. And oh my God, I just realized I'm very materialistic in the way I speak. Look at opportunities in the way they present to you. Doesn't matter if you're an introvert or extrovert. Just get out there and just be open to get your mind like changed, and you get your mind like just be open to people proving you wrong, and people like teaching you things about life, man. Because I'm telling you, these humbling experiences, it sucks when it happens, but oh my God, when you describe it after months, even now I cannot stop smiling thinking about the time I got humbled in ISB, completely humbled. But I loved it, because the person that I am right now would not have happened if that humbling did not take place. I would have thought I was someone. And when it comes to any public platforms like this, if you think you are someone, and if you have your inflated ego, like if you have your ego inflated to a certain point, and you come to a public platform like this, when you're actually posed with an intellectual person, they'll destroy you. No efforts. They won't even try to destroy you. They'll just be logical and you'll get destroyed. So I'm very thankful. And yeah, people who are claiming to be introverts, just please be more open, man. Like claiming to be an introvert, that does not really help you in any way, shape, or form. Or at least that's what I think. But I have ranted for quite a while. Sorry for that. That has been a long time since I've ranted like that. Please go ahead and add something if you want.
Yes, so the thing that you said about introverts, I wouldn't call myself one. I could completely relate to what you said before that you were an introvert, and then, the amount of opportunities others were getting because of just normally cold calling. Or do you use the word cold approaching? Is that a thing?
That is a thing, but you don't need to like term it as something so serious. You can just frankly just go ahead and like do it
Yeah,
as a.
okay, right. So yeah, I could completely relate with that because right from the beginning, although I have uh, made friends online, but in general, I randomly go ahead and talk to people, and that's how I have a lot of people I know in college and in general. So definitely. And about introverts just approaching people randomly, yes, don't term yourself an introvert, or just you need to understand that if you don't get out of your bubble, you're not getting anywhere. I mean, that's a hard realization. It's a very difficult thing for people to do. But if you realize that, if you uh, push through those difficulties, then I think you can get somewhere that you might not have imagined. And I see a lot of people who just don't even think about coming out of that bubble because they're just happy where they are. And frankly, I don't think it's going to help you that much. So if you want to talk to them, go ahead. It this is applicable in every single thing. Even if you want to approach a girl, want to date someone, just go ahead and just approach her, man. Too late, too short. So yeah, that'll be it. I pretty much agree with the last thing that you said. And at this time, I will conclude. This is probably the first video that I will be concluding. So, guys, this was our 10th episode, and it was a great conversation. And we're looking for more such topics from you. If you have any suggestions, you can DM Madhesh or me, or put it in the comments below. We'd be happy to make more videos on the topics that interest you. And that'll be it from our side. Bye.